Morning, guys. Mike here from Rust Brothers with the lovely and talented young Cass. She's going to give us a hand here on the FM3 Pink Charger.
Oh my god, this car is long with that on.
I know.
Look how long that makes
Look
it.
how long it makes it, eh?
Jesus.
The only reason this car is so much better than most I work with, I've already spent a whack of money getting it to this stage. There's a lot of to a 70 Charger. It wasn't a graveyard, it was beyond the graveyard. It was already been incinerated.
No rust,
No
great
rust.
panels.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, life's good for me.
Still a very cool car. We've got the metal work done. That's our next project. Well, what do you think? I mean, I think Mike did an amazing job on the metal work.
I mean, it looks good. I mean, as for a lineup goes, I mean, it's all pretty decent.
Today, well, we finally decided what we're going to do for the next build. We've sold the first Pink Charger. The RT is gone. We have another one that my buddy did some amazing metal work on. Basically, we bought a roof and a firewall and a bunch of parts. So now it's a rolling, it's another 1970 FM3 Panther Pink Charger. This one was as plain Jane as they got. 318, column shift, split bench, 7 1/4 rear end, just zero options basically, but it was pure pink with a white upholstery. Well, it's better than what they came with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, this is not gonna be a show.
That's the biggest thing that takes time, right? Like you have to cut and weld. But I mean, I'm gonna have to adjust everything obviously, but
I mean, it's a pretty good, I mean, I'm sure that's better than new. And like I said, there's no rust.
Straight. The only other thing is like, I mean, we can glass this, but another thing that we always do is we just weld over another piece of metal so it's flush.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't want to spend that amount of time on it, we could just glass it as well.
Yep. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean.
It is a solid weld, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it cracking.
Yeah. My friend that I got the other RT off of, a good buddy of mine named JJ, at one time he had 6 of them. It's another one he started 10 years ago, and basically life moved on and the car build just stopped. The only reason I bought it, it had all the sheet metal, had all new upholstery and boxes, all new glass. So even though it was a lot of money up front, it was basically I paid for the parts and got the car for free. How do you say no to a deal like that? Most people would have. I mean, we're gonna mud it, but I mean, it almost, I was thinking, do we have to mud these quarters? I guess so, yes, I know. Imagine the cellophane on a package of cigarettes. That's how smooth it has to be if you want a flawless paint job. And even though the metal looks good, if you're going to that tolerance, it's not good. So you can either spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get it perfect, picking and filing and grinding your metal down and getting it perfect, or you bump it out, you get it as close as you can, you put a little bit of mud, fills in the lows, bring everything up to the highs. If it's too high, you bang it down, do it again. I mean, if you want it straight, you've got to use filler. We still got to strip everything off.
Yeah, because you don't want to be, you can't complete this plan.
I mean, and if you're gonna mud it, you need it down to 40 grit anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, whatever, well, you can start stripping it after you get it a sun hold and
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe,
These doors, I really like these doors.
They are
I can
cool.
tell that they're gonna be a pain in the butt to bodywork.
yeah, these original doors. I mean, everything else is, basically the only thing left original on this door is the cowl,
Yeah.
the doors,
Yeah.
and the roof.
Nice.
Everything else has basically been changed because it was rotten. But no, the trunks are repop, quarters are repop, rockers, floors, trunk, drop-offs, that's all brand new. Special shout out to our good buddies at AMD, without who we'd not be restoring these vintage Mopars. Because before, nobody made parts. And it's not like you're gonna go to a wrecking yard and find mint quarters for a 70 Charger, right? So if they don't make them, we don't get to build them. But like I said, I've got the build sheet,
Yeah.
oh, we need a,
Yeah, not bolted on.
oh, there's no, it needs the nuts welded
This
on.
might be on the fenders though, right? No, these ones have J nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking for maybe that one. I don't know.
I don't know, I'm wondering why they wouldn't be there. And actually,
Bears, these are like for J nuts, you know, that slip in, I think.
yeah, I'm gonna have to check. Actually, here, why don't you hold this and I'll go grab the fenders and the hood. We have so many parts here. This is all Charger parts. These
or what is known in the Mopar world as unobtainium.
I mean, a lot of Mopar parts are what we call unobtainium, meaning they don't make them, it's impossible to find them. So a good set of 70 Charger fenders can go up to $7,000 American dollars for a good set, because they're 1 year only and they don't make them. So if you've got a car that's worth $100,000 and you have no fenders, your car is worth squat. They're only 1 year only, they don't make them. It's just, there's a lot of parts like that. I've been offered $5,000 for a hood and a set of fenders for a 1970 Super Beat. And I said no, because I have 5 cars and then I'm gonna be looking. It just, if the parts aren't there, that's why they call it Mopar unobtainium.
I have 2 hoods. I don't know which one we're gonna use, but we'll just drop this one. I might have to blast this one. I got 2 of them. We'll see which one's best. Ooh, baby.
I mean, as soon as we put these fenders and that hood on,
Yeah.
That's gonna look sick.
the reason they don't make it 1 year only because the front bumper goes all the way around and across,
nice.
right? So that's why the hood and everything's different. 68 and 9, you can interchange parts.
Do you have
70,
do you have a bumper for it?
somewhere, yep.
Maybe
I think I got a brand new rechrome one.
Maybe another nice thing to
Yeah.
fit, just so that you know that it fits properly. Yeah. Oh yeah, here you go. Oh my god, this car is long with that on.
I know.
Look how long that makes
Look
it.
how long it makes it, eh?
Jesus. Oh, that's
She's long and lean.
That's pretty cool though. That was a massive front fender, Jesus. Said they're definitely sharp on the edges.
Oh yeah. I think this piece was repaired.
Oh yeah, and it needs the holes drilled. Doesn't have the holes in it.
Oh, hang on, no, I got it up.
Yeah.
I do. Okay. I'm not a Dodge guy. Or up. There we go.
Alright.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Like you can buy these grills for they're like 2,000 American. I think I
Yeah.
got 3 of them.
Come on, Lincoln. Oh, I shut the door. It's coded there, buddy. Well, whoever packed up these parts did a good job. Actually
Yes.
bolted to a piece of wood. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, so it doesn't flex.
Yeah. I mean, we should get it half assembled before you do the bodywork, so
Yeah.
when you know exactly, we don't
Yeah.
have to go back and make any changes after it's painted. Yeah.
Anyway, this is what we got to work with. I mean, it's a
Sweet.
lot better than most of the stuff we start with.
Oh yeah, this is no rust,
No
spray
rust.
panels.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, life's good for me.
Okay, well, right on. Anyway, guys, stay tuned. Pretty soon it's going to be pretty in pink. I forgot I had this hood. We're probably going to use it. Looks like somebody's done some work on it already, but we're going to strip it down. Pretty nice looking hood. Cassidy strut at the back. Get a little bit of alignment done on this trunk lid. Have an original trunk lid, but the car came with a repop one. So we had to do a little bit of slicing and dicing again to get the alignment right, because you're dealing with aftermarket parts. I mean, the problem with Mopars is their clearances, their gaps, the tolerances to what they built these cars to 55 years ago was nowhere near the tolerances that they build cars of today to, right? Just about any B-body Mopar, you can stick your thumb under the door between the jamb and the bottom of the door. The gaps were all over the place. So I mean, the aftermarket, they're good, but I mean, normally you have to do some modification. You buy any aftermarket quarter panel or a major part and it'll say some modification may be required to make it fit perfectly. And it's just part of dealing with parts that are made now instead of made 55 years ago, because everybody's standards are a lot higher now when you're restoring these cars than what they were brand new. Yeah, it's pretty close, Cass? But yeah, tweak it a bit. I mean, if it goes over 1/8 of an inch or whatever, it's pretty good all the way around. Yeah, I mean, Dodges were never known for their gaps.
Yeah.
Or they're known for how bad they were. No, see, that's the thing with the Seppies, right? They fit all the way around. So when that,
That upside down?
yes, license plate will go at the bottom. And,
Maybe I'll start by getting that front piece on and then that fitted so I can.
well, it started at the back because I got to find all the brackets to mount all this still.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. We're gonna make some progress. So you ever worked on a Charger before, Cass? Cass is not finished. This is the first one she's doing without any help from Blair. But she was just up at Blair, and I'm sure he yelled at her lots to make sure he was doing the job. So I have total faith in Cassidy. She's learned from the master. Blair knows what he's doing. Cass worked with him for 3-4 years. And basically we're starting with a really decent shell to start with. So I've got nothing but confidence in young Miss Cass. Oh, yeah, look at that, eh? Woo, all powder coated. Okay, so there's more. Okay, so those are the right pieces. There's a lot of to a 70 Charger.
Alright guys, we're going to start off by aligning all the panels, and I'm going to start from the back and work my way forwards because Mike's still gathering some parts for the front end there. It's really important that you get all your gaps and everything good before you start the body work, because if they're not sitting where they're supposed to be and you go sand all your body work, it might be uneven when you go align panels. So we want to make sure everything's fit.
The sheet metal work is done better than what factory is. It's not that Cass is high standards because she wants perfect gaps, but these cars never came with perfect gaps. But I mean, the metal work is done better than what it was factory, but Cass is a little bit nitpicky, so she's gonna make a couple slices and move a little this and a little that, just so she's happy. But anyway, everything's lining up perfect. I mean, we put the front end on, the hood. We do have to change some of the hinges, but everything is lining up excellently. It's gonna be a great looking car. We got another trunk lid out there too, an original one, but I mean, that one's...
This one's in good shape.
Yeah, well, brand new is why, probably $1,000 bill.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't have to change it. Unless you want it all original.
Well, it's a bit late for that,
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a fair statement, as your kids would say.
All right, so these trusses, they don't really have any side-to-side adjustment. The brackets in here that attach to the body, they're actually a welded on piece, so there isn't any movement this way, but there is movement back and forth. Sitting pretty nice, but it's a little close here and a little wide here and a little close here and a little wide here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this side slightly forwards and this side slightly back, and then that'll give me a nice even gap.
If you got back like even half an eighth, if you move it back is 6 feet, right?
If I move it back, this gap gets wider and this one gets narrower, right? And then you have an uneven gap going this way.
Is it just me or does that one come out?
You see?
You know what I mean? Like this line here, it looks like this edge comes out. I'm just wondering if you don't put an original one on and see if it fits better, because we have one.
And got me quarters.
Yeah.
Even if the quarter is out an 8,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the only thing new on it in this area, I mean the trunk is new, but the weld on panel, just like every car, the gold standard is we can fit this and move it, or I can grind a little off of the trunk lid and get it to, they're never gonna be a perfect.
No. I just think this one comes out more.
I disagree with you.
The straight edge, just this and giggles, because we're here now. So let me grab the straight edge to see. So either that one comes out or this one goes in a bit.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
the difference you're seeing is from here to here, which is not the here issue that we're having.
Okay. Who am I to second guess Cass? I have 70-year-old eyes and I'm half blind. She won. I'll give her 1. She won 1. That's it, that's all.
All right, now we're on to aligning this door. The other thing that we do when we're gapping these doors when they're just a shell is we put them like 1 millimeter above or like higher than they should be, so that when you press on it, the gap is straight, because once we go assemble the glass in this, it's quite heavy and it actually brings the door down. So keep that in mind when you guys are doing this in your doors. It's a little tighter. Very commonly, they're a little tighter just in this bottom round area. Okay, actually this door, I'm not gonna mess with. It's actually, might have to do some welding on this door right there. Definitely been gouged. We'll have to pull the dent out of it after. Let's go take a look at the driver's door.
Normally what you do is you hang your doors to align them to where the original quarters are, then you make the new quarters, because basically the only original metal on this car is, I think, the filler panel and the roof and the A-pillars. Basically the rest of the car, well, the top of the quarters were original, but then they put fulls on. So you start with where the original quarters are, you align your door to that. Then you align your new quarters to where the door is, and then everything goes forward. Because basically you have to align from something that won't move. And so the original quarter, that line, even if you change the quarter, that's where the quarter is going to go. So you've got your door line to the quarter, change the quarter, make it to the gap of the door. Then you go from the front of the door forward. And then you line your fenders, you line your hood to the fenders, your grill, your bumpers, everything else. But you've got to start from something that's not moving, and usually that's your door jamb.
All right, so we're gonna be stripping the rest of this car while Mike figures out the front end and how to get it assembled. There's a lot of parts he's still looking for, and I can't finish gapping anything, but I mean, this back end of the car is pretty nice. Still don't know what I'm gonna do here yet, but after Mike comes down, I'll talk to him about that. But anyways, 36 grit, low speed on an orbital. Make sure that you get off all this e-coating because it's no good. And then we'll get ready to start doing some Bondo. You want to make sure that you get a really good grip on your surface for your Bondo to stick to. So you want to be able to feel that texture.
Basically, yes, the car's being prepped for Bondo and then paint. So basically, any time you're going to paint it, if you're not 100% confident in the substrate, especially, like basically, we're going to mud the entire car to make sure it's smooth. You've got to get it all down to 40 grit scratches. We rely on a mechanical bond. A lot of people like a chemical bond. It's a big 50, half people like doing it to bare metal, half like to use an epoxy primer and use a chemical bond on top of it for doing the mud. Blair believes in this method. That's the way he taught Cass. That's the way we're going. So basically, strip it down. We normally do use a polisher, slow speed, because if you use a grinder with a big pad, you can actually warp a lot of the sheet metal. You've got to be very careful. You can't stay in one place too much time because 40 grit is really aggressive, but that's what gives good tooth for the mud.
As you guys can see, this black factory or whatever e-coat, it's very thin and it comes off really fast, so it doesn't take very much time at all to get this all prepped out. And then after I get all the black off, it'll be ready for Bondo. You can see it's actually pink under this back panel. This is one of all the original panels on this car.
There's a task. What would I do that's going to do the most beneficial to accomplish something? Start stripping the roof?
Do you have two polishers?
I got 4 of them.
Well, yeah, stripping the roof would be phenomenal.
Okay, yes. Since your little short arm.
I was actually dreading, I was thinking about it, like, I tried to find the other ladder and I couldn't.
I'm good at mindless, repetitive, boring labor. I'm really good at it. And Cass is glad I am. I mean, that's the start of this project. This is basically episode 1. Stay tuned for episode 2, or we'll get the rest of the mud work. We'll get it in high solids. All the car will be one color, and it's gonna look amazing. Step 3 will be getting paint on it, I guess. Anyway, stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. Remember, those that have should give. Peace, love, and joy.